So the very first thing that comes up is from Torchmate.com that says video tutorials. Okay. On this, I just click on that. That takes you to the Torchmate site, and this is under training, Torchmate Academy. There's all sorts of different training here. If I hit Torchmate Academy, it's going to bring you up to the Torchmate Academy video, and then it's going to talk to you a little bit about purchasing the online academy. We're just going to come here to the Torchmate videos. And if you look down here, there's features videos, demo videos, Torchmate YouTube channel. Okay, so there's 3 options here. Also, you can look up different videos that might be of use to you. So you have how to make toolpaths, how to scan images, and I'll do all that in just a second. You can talk about single line text. This is the kind of like the holy grail of text, the single line text, and we'll talk about how to do that in a little bit. But if you look at this, there's a whole bunch of videos for you to learn. So if I come up here and let's just see where this goes. Let's try featured video. This is different, talk about different videos from customers, different tool generation. That's if you have multi-tool, which we have had, we need to get back to. Or if we go to demo videos page, this is talking about the machine itself. And so let's just start talking about the software. And again, this is all free to you videos that you can watch. And so if you have questions about doing anything, let's go to the Torchmate YouTube channel. Okay. If you have questions about doing anything.
Hi, I'm Iggy with
That's Iggy, buddy of mine, he's a good guy. But here, and look at all of the different videos directly put here for you to learn. So if I just do the intro to Torchmate CAD CAM, we're not going to watch the entire thing because you guys could do it on your own.
My name is Mark Humphreys with Electric Cutting Systems, and welcome to our first video on our Torchmate CAD CAM video playlist. We're going to go over exactly how to become a master of the Torchmate CAD CAM software. So this is our first video. We're going to introduce you to the program, familiarize yourself with how to operate the mouse, the tools that are available to you, and we're just going to draw a few shapes in a smiley face. So let's get started. So when you first open up the Torchmate CAD CAM.
So if you have never used the software before, this would be a great little video just to watch. Or if you want to pick up a little thing, the beginning user, things that you might have forgotten, you just click on this, say, oh, it's an introduction to Torchmate CAD CAM. Remember that this is the type of software packages.
Hi, I'm Iggy with Lincoln Electric, and I'm at a Reno, Nevada manufacturer.
If you go back what I was saying, if you have a question about something, it's most likely online somewhere. But we're going to go over today a little bit more in depth, and we're going to start talking about bringing in or making your different patterns and what it means. So your next assignment, we're going to start talking about making your own brand. Okay, we're going to take that brand and just say, let's just type in cattle brands, and we'll just go to images. These are examples of what brands are out there. They all mean different things, and it's really cool once you get into learning about brands and what it means. And you could have an anchor brand, a rocking brand. If you want to learn how to make one, that's right there. Here's an example of brands right here that people have made. Then this is what we're doing. See, it's a wood brand. See that? We're actually making it, and you're going to be burning your brand into a piece of wood. And hopefully this is done by Thursday. Okay, so you're going to be welding and you're going to be working on making your brands. people ask me all the time, what can we put on our brands? Well, the answer is anything you want. Okay, so let's just get started, and let's say I want to make a brand, and I want to take this in, and I want to make my initials, and I'm just going to say DT. I have it in Western Normal. I could change my font, remember, by coming up here, and I just type, come in here to Western Normal. I could do that one. I could change it to Old English if I want. There's all sorts of different texts I can use here. Okay, let's say I want to just I want to do Singo script. Well, I have to highlight it all, and then it'll say like that, and it'll automatically change it. See that? So if I'm in my text toolbox up here, or my ribbon up top here, I can change and work with my text. If I change that, so what happens though, I don't like any of the fonts I have. Make sure I'm sorry, yeah. I don't like any of the fonts I have. I come up here, open up a new window, and I can just go to font.com, fonts.com. There's a whole plethora of font channels out there, or sites that you can look up. I go, let's just say I want to say Old Western. Okay, so it'll look for everything that says Old Western. It came up with one. Why did it only come up with one? Because it's looking for the search that I typed in. Let's just try Western. Now there's 28 fonts called Western. So you see this? Okay. So I look up here and I'm saying, wow, I like this Nankata Western a little bit. Wow, I really like this one. It's a little bolder. Edamame Western. I'm going to do this one. I download it. And this is the other thing you need to know is it's 100% free. If you see this where it says donationware, it's going to ask you for donation, and some of them will actually ask you for money to download it. Okay. So I'm going to come over here to which one we were looking at, Edamame, this one right here, Dakota Western. I'm just going to hit download, and it's going to come down here to the bottom screen, and it's going to say downloading. I want to open that, so if I want to see all my downloads, I hit Control J, and that comes up on my Google, or excuse me, my Chrome, and it's going to say, it's going to show you what's just downloaded. So if you can't find it, I'm just going to say show in folder, and it's right there. On my desktop, I actually have a folder usually that's just marked fonts. I don't have one, so I'm just going to make a new folder, and I'm going to call it fonts. Now, when you download a lot of fonts, hey, it already has it there, so now I don't want to, so I'm going to go find it. Where is there's my fonts. I'm going to open it, and I'm going to make a new folder, because once you start downloading a lot of fonts, it gets cluttered. I don't know where it is. So I'm going to call this, what was it? Nakati Western, I think is what I called. Nakota Western. There we go. I'm going to change this folder, and I'm going to call it NANTOKA_Western. What this does also is it allows me to know what the name of that font is. So if I come back later and I draw something and I go, man, what was that font? Oh my goodness. And I can't remember. I just go back to my fonts pattern, and I know kind of around when I downloaded it, because it has date modified here. And I can find that font. So if I need to go back out on the interweb, or I can go to my, my Torchmate fonts and find it there. So I'm going to take this, and it's going to have a button here that says extract all, and it's going to say, where do I want to put it? Well, I'm going to browse. I am going to go to my desktop fonts, and there it is right next to Nantoka fonts, and I go select folder and extract. So what did that just do? It put it in this fonts folder. If I double click on it, it's going to show me what that font looks like, the 12 to 72 font, and it's going to tell me right here what is included in this font package. When you're looking at fonts, some builders will say it's free, but I'm not going to give you the vowels. So you can go get that font package and get all the consonants without any vowels. And if you want the vowels, it's going to cost you like 10 bucks. So they trap you that way. So be careful of that. If I look here, you have A, go all the way down through Z. And then I also have the capital A through Z. Then I have the numbers 1 through 10, because I put 1 and 0 together. And then I have commas, colons, semicolons, exclamation point, question mark, and hash mark. That is what comes with this font package. I could print this out. If I kept a folder of all my fonts, I could print it, put it in my font folder. So that way when I go to a business and I say, what font would you like? And I have an entire library of fonts, then they could pick it out. I want that one. It's labeled. I can go directly back into my Torchmate software and say, here's the font they wanted. And then bam, it saves you a lot of struggle in the long run if you're running your own business and you're trying to make bids and you're trying to do things for the other person. So once you open it though, you have to hit this is a true type font. I'm going to say install. When that goes gray, that means it's been installed. I can now get out of these folders, and I can go back to my Torchmate CAD, and I go File, Install. Wait a second. What's that word right there? Fonts. So if I go Torchmate and File, Install, Fonts, now I can go out there on my interweb, browse fonts, click that, hit OK. And I want to say only true type fonts, and I'm going to get rid of all these. And I'm going to say search now. And it's going to go find all of my true type fonts, but now it's going to find them all. So I can just come in here and say, oh my goodness, where'd it go? So I'm going to come up here and try to find my Nantucket. Oh wait, there it is, Nantoka Western. And I hit, watch this, install. Fonts installed, hit OK, hit close. Now, if I click on my fonts, I can take this. I can go find the font I liked, and I just click somewhere here, and I go in. There's my Nantoka Western. It's a true type font. I double click, and look what I just found. See that? So if you have a font that somebody gives you that says, here's something I want you to cut out. It was, I had a business come to me and they had a logo. They wanted me to cut it out, and here's a logo. And I looked at what's the font. They said, I have no idea. So I can actually highlight it. And there's a site out there that I use. I found, I don't know how good it is or bad it is. There's a different one out there. It's called What the Font. Okay. So what the font, you highlight it, you put it in there, and it will find everything it can go out there and digitally find that's close enough. That being said, not all fonts are free. So this company, they wanted a font. The font cost 99 bucks. I said, I have this font for 99 bucks, or I have this one for free that's close. They chose to go the free route. I said, okay. So we changed their logo a little bit, but it's close. Okay. So let's start here. I've got my fonts. I just did my 2 initials, DT. Pretty simple so far, right? Okay. Okay. So, but the problem with this is I can't do anything with it because it's still a font. It's still a text. So I need to make this into a graphic file. So if I come up here, range, text to graphics, why is that not bold? Why can't I do anything with it? No, because if I still have this ribbon up top here, that means I'm still editing font. So I have to click somewhere else on the screen, boom. Now you see it highlighted. If you don't like the shading on, you can just turn it off, and then you see the red outline. If you don't like red, I come down here and say, well, I want it to be, actually, it's not going to let me do that right now. Red means selected. So if you do red, okay, now the fill, I could change the fill color. I want it blue. Doesn't matter. I'm going to go back to black, okay. So if I do that, I have to do a range, and now I can do text to graphics. Or I could just hit Alt-B on my keyboard. So I go text to graphics, and now I could edit it. But on my toolbar, I have that little button up here that says convert to polyarc highlights up. I have that set up to where if it's not a polyarc, that button lights up and I just touch it and bam, now it's polyarc. Yes, and now I'm going to tell you how. Remember last week I said I'm going to show you how to adjust this? This is my custom toolbar. This is everything I use mostly. That way it prevents me from having to go up to my Word menus and trying to find it, like where is it, where is it, where is it? I know it's here somewhere. Okay, it's down here. No, but it's, you know, see what I'm saying? So I have it set up. So if I come up here to anywhere on the toolbox and I right click, now don't do that on these school computers. This is what you do on your home computers, is you hit the word customize. Now I did my custom one, I just called it Turner. I call it school, I call it anything. So I go to customize and I hit new, and let's just call this test. And now this comes up with a list. So if I come down here, it says separator. I don't want separator. Let's go new. I just hit add, open, and I could just use arrows in my keyboard. Just use this save, import, export, come down here. You come down here. I'm gonna do exit. But see, now I have a test, but everything I just did, see, it's on my second toolbar down here. So if it's check marked, it's showing it. If it's not check marked, it's not. So see how I did that? So if I go on test, I go customize, now it goes back to where I was. So that's how you put a custom toolbar on it. So I can just delete it out because I don't need it. But that's, and then you hit close and it'll automatically come up there and add your toolbar in. Yes.
So if I have it on a USB drive,
yes.
Wasn't here, I would still be able to go to that drive and make those changes?
No, because you cannot install anything. No. These school computers are locked down. You can't add anything to it.
Oh,
okay. Hey, gentlemen, we're up here. We'll talk about all that in a little bit. So when we're working, we're doing demonstrations up here. So if you're working on your own, you're missing things up here. I know what you're doing. Thank you very much for being helpful. I'm saying just to other people to stop working on stuff so that way you're paying attention to what I'm going over with, because what I'm covering, you're going to use, and if people are not paying attention and you're all working on your own stuff, then I'm going to have to answer the exact same question multiple times when I could just do it up here and then we all learned it. Okay, so that's how you customize the toolbar. But you're going to have to, on your own computer, on your own stuff, that's how you're going to customize it. And I'll go through it and take, I mean, if you make yours look just like that, you'll be, well, and I'll go through it with you and tell you what buttons I use. And as you get more in depth in this software, you might use different tools than I use. This undo and redo tool are amazing tools. Okay. So if I double click this now, I made it a poly arc. See how I have X's and I have round marks here. Those X's, that means, or those crosses, that means it's a sharp point. But you also notice that when I did that, it went back to a polygon. So if I click, if I just hit apply, if I click this, that one's a poly arc. See how the menu's different up here? So if I just apply, come out here, the menu's different because that's a polygon. So, and my poly arc button lit up, so I hit that. Now they're both poly arcs. So if I hit this now, look in the corner, see how it's rounded? So those are little clues that you can do. If you want to get into the node editing tool, we're not going to do it right now, but you could right click on it and you could, if I wanted to break it, there. Now, see how I broke those two? See how I can move that, and those two are no longer connected. So if I come off it, see how that one's dark and this one's not dark? This is a very, very frustrating thing for a beginner because that's an open path. Where is it broken? Now, I made it to where you can see it. So if I just do the undo button, oh, okay, there we are. See that? So,
It's not highlighted, it's a broken path.
Well, for example, let's say I come in here, I'm just going to delete a segment between nodes, hit apply. See how that one's dark and that one's not dark? So if I have my shading turned off, they're both outlined dark. It looks like they're the same. This is why I always will hit the shading, and what'll happen, see how this is a broken line here? That just shows it's an open path. Yes, sir. Yes. Yes.
And the words are taken out, right? The brand is going to be the negative.
Right. And that you have to actually look at what's going to be left on the plate. Okay. So basically speaking, we're going to get to this in just a second. Okay. You don't want to look at the bottom of the brand and what it's going to look like. You want to look at from a top down because you're going to heat the bottom and you're going to go from the top down. Okay. So if that's a broken line, the old softwares I used to use, I used to be able to click on it and then find where it is. So this one, I made it easy. Just hit the undo, it's there. So what happens if you come in here and let's do this. Let's say there's an opening here. Can you see that? You have no idea where it is. So what a trick that I use is I'll scroll in like this as much as I can. If it's obvious, like, oh, I saw it right there, I'll just fix it. But if it's not obvious, I'll just double click. I'll come in here. I'll just delete another segment and I'll break path. And then I'll go, oh, see how it highlighted? I know that there's a break here because I put it there. See that? But see how it's red up to right here? Now I scroll in there, oh, there it is. So I'll intentionally put in my own break, and then break path, and that way I can highlight. I just click on it and it will highlight to where the next break is. Now, if there's multiple breaks, it will still highlight that. Then I can just start joining pieces together. See that? So if I want to, I can come off here, double click, shift, and click my next piece. See that? Shift, holding down the shift key means that you could select something else. So it's called a shift click. So you shift click the other piece. I am just going to highlight those two nodes. See how they're both red? Red means selected, and I just hit J. Join. Okay. Now I'm going to scroll back out. I'm going to come here where I know I made a break and just hit join. I'm going to join that back up. I hit apply. Oh, it's dark again. Okay. Did everybody understand that? Any questions on that? Okay. All right. So let's start editing our picture. I have a font here. I don't like these. I can just highlight and delete. Highlight and delete. Oh, delete. See, there's certain times in life where you probably, should mute your computer, and that was one of them. Really? So maybe you should stay where we are and follow along. All right. So now I have my T here without this little spire sticking out. And if I want to do the same here, I just come here, delete that out. I come here, delete that out, and hit apply. Remember, every time you have a node, that's a change in direction. But look how many nodes are here. If I want to make it a little bit easier on a machine, I'm going to come in here, arrange, reduce nodes, and I have it set up for every 10 thousandths. So if there is a deviation or something like a little squibble or something like that, that's a change in direction. I hit OK. It didn't change the letter or the picture that much, but if I double click on it, look how many less nodes there are. Now, this can change the resolution to your picture on very fine details. You see that? So on very fine details, it could change the resolution, and you're going to have to kind of play with it a little bit here or there to get to more of your liking. So I usually will always reduce nodes because that makes it easier on the machine. It's not changing directions that much. See how many nodes are there? Hit apply, come up machine, reduce nodes, 10 thousandths, boom. Didn't change it that much, but watch the difference. See how it's different? Okay, so you can, as long as you're on that middle button, top button of this up here, that's called node edit. I can come in and I can move the nodes a little bit. I could change the nodes. Now, if you want that node and that node to be exactly the same, look at the numbers. So that's if we come up here out to my ruler, I click on that node. That's about around the 39 something. So that vertically, your y coordinate vertically is 39.88. My x is left to right. So if I come here to this one and I want it to be the same as this one, I click 39.88. I click on that and I go 39.92. And you'll notice that now that node and that node are horizontally the same. And that way you could start making it look the way you want to by equaling out the nodes where you want it. That makes sense? Okay, so I hit, if I want to take out a section, I click the middle where it just says delete, and that will delete between the nodes. Okay, it'll take one node to the next node and it'll delete that segment. Okay, and apply. I don't like it. I just did undo. Yes, sir.
I noticed this time when you deleted those nodes, it didn't auto join. Because before when you deleted some nodes, it auto joined by T.
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, what he's talking about, so I went here, and let's say I want to just delete out these. I am not doing anything but hitting the delete button, so I'm not breaking a segment. I'm not deleting out a segment. I'm just deleting those nodes. It didn't auto join, it just never broke the path. Okay, so I come to my undo button, boom, so there you go. Hit apply. Okay, so other things you could do. Let's say you don't, you could come in here and you could add a node in. You add a node by double clicking. See that? Now, what that does, I could change just that segment. So if I wanted to just, if I wanted to add a little bit more definition here, I could just do that. The other thing is, let's say you want that to be a little bit wider. I'm just going to come in, I'm going to grab half of the letter. And I can use my arrow keys, or I could just click and drag with my mouse. So I can make my letters really wide. I could even make this a little wonky if I want. Hey, look. Okay. So if I'm looking at my letters and I just want to do part of a drawing, I just highlight those nodes, and then I can adjust those nodes itself. Okay. So I'm just going to come in here and hit Control or undo. Apply it, just do Control Z, that way it'll do all. So I want to make this a little bit wider. I'm just going to come in here. I'm just going to add a node. And you got to be really careful sometimes, because sometimes adding a node, it changes the dynamics. So you can actually come in here and add back. And I want this, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, I want this to be about right there. Okay. And I want to go down a little bit because it's, there we go. And then my D, I'm going to do the same thing. You'll notice that all I have to do is just click on the next one. I'm going to come in here, grab half the nodes, and I'm just going to make it a little bit wider too. Okay, there we go. See that? Now, this one's about 3.11 inches wide. I want my T to be about 3.11 inches wide, so I come up here to my width and go 3.11 inches wide, and there you go. But why did it get taller? I didn't unlock it, so I need to go Control Z, unlock it, double click, apply, and now I can come in here and go 3.11, enter, and that makes it the same width. So there's editing nodes, and there's editing the picture, there's editing the paths, there's all sorts of ways to make a picture different. Okay, so that's just a little rundown on text.